Hey everybody, Killian HB here, and today we are going to be talking about Rahim, or Bebam, whatever he prefers to be called, the caster, the divisive caster, within the Counter-Strike Global Offensive community. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're kind of going to take a scholarly, analytical deep dive onto this particular subject of Rahim using sort of literary theory, performance theory, and do an analysis from that point of view, from a sort of scholarly, collegiate place, as if we were almost writing a thesis paper on Rahim and his style and the effect that he has, and maybe why he's so divisive, as I've said. So first off, something I should probably say is that I'm coming at this subject as a person who's not a fan of Rahim. So if any of this analysis seems overly harsh, that's probably why. My apologies to any Rahim fans out there, but hopefully this will explain why maybe you shouldn't be a Rahim fan. We'll see. So in any scholarship on the subject of art or performance, you study the text, as they say, which in this case doesn't mean a literal text like a form of writing, but the entire body of the piece or performance, okay? So looking deeply and critically at the text that is Rahim's work and persona, we can develop and work some theories out about him that are really interesting. So let's get into it, right? Counter-Strike in and of itself is a subculture within a subculture, right? There's a subculture of gaming, and we are a small dedicated subset of that, right? Which is the Counter-Strike community. So Rahim then is a niche within a niche within a niche, right? Niche inception. It's going down. And he does this by creating a cult of language, okay? So, for instance, he's always saying things like NT, NT, or smell of GG, right? Fostering a feeling of both shared experience and outsiderness within this subculture, right? So, again, more examples like potato, potato, cuckoo kill, right? He's using language to create a place where only those who love him understand what is happening, right? Which is intentionally pushing others away. And he uses this repetition of phrases, right? Instead of reaching for the intellectual and analytical, as is now expected and desired from most dedicated viewers, right? He keeps people stuck on the immediate and obvious, right? Those details that are most immediate to him, the kills, the weapons, whatever it is, the grenades, all that stuff. So it's a language of exclusivity, is what I feel. Where other casters, right, they strive to make things accessible and add deeper meaning. Rahim does the opposite. For instance, let's say that a CT is trying to save his weapon while there are maybe 4 or 5 Ts alive and hunting. So Rahim will put on the Mission Impossible theme without comment, basically. First, to understand this, the viewer needs to know the mechanics of saving and why the CT would be doing that and what the benefits of that are. And they also need to know how hard of a task it is to save against that many hunting terrorists, right? And Rahim explains none of this. So it's a great way to create a small but dedicated fan base who are then able to castigate others for not getting it, right? As we've seen time and time again. And he's sort of defended as comedy, but he's really not, in fact, doing comedy. He's using language to subvert the expectations of the form. And another really important and interesting thing to take into account when studying a text is intent, authorial intent, right? You can look into a work and try to sort of suss out from within the work, the state of mind and the attitudes of the author himself, right? So looking at Rahim in particular, as we are wont to do, generates some very interesting conclusions as to his own intent, right? Specifically, he seems to have an almost self-conscious awareness that he is, in fact, very bad at what he does, okay? In fact, he interjects every aspect of his performance with winking acknowledgement that he and his work are simply god-awful, okay? So look at this. When we're looking at his intent, and his intent that he is actually not good at what he does, for instance, he puts bad music, like intentionally bad music, between games. There's the Hot Girl song, which some would say is the worst song ever written. Like, God, am I gonna sing? Hot girls, we have problems too. We're just like you, except we're hot. See, I really wish I didn't know that song, but I actually studied a lot of Rahim's casting, unfortunately, for this, so I've heard it many, many times. Another thing that he plays between games is an intentionally bad rendition of the Titanic theme song. And these are things, right, when you put these things into your performance, into your work, into the text, what you're saying is, we are creating something bad here. All of this is bad, intentionally so. Another thing that he does that points to this intent within his work is every once in a while he'll do this sort of overlay on the screen, and he has a lot of overlays, but one in particular is like a vote kick, and it starts off like a normal vote kick of a player, except it's for the spectator, him, and it's like ticking off. 1, oh no, don't kick me, why, I'm doing a great job, and then 2, no, please don't kick me, guys, why do you hate me, 3, 4, 5, 6, until it's in the thousands, and things basically explode from there. So there's this sort of awareness within himself that this performance that he's putting on is, in fact, intentionally bad, okay? But the thing is, there's a little bit of a problem with being intentionally bad, right? It's the difference between a movie like The Room, a masterpiece of bad cinema, and Snakes on a Plane, right? So Snakes on a Plane, they were trying to make something bad, something that you could go and laugh at and look how dumb this is, right? Jeez. And then there's The Room, which is incredible in its ineptitude, right? Tommy Wiseau, the creator, truly thought that he was creating his own Citizen Kane, right? And that is where its greatness comes from. Whereas Rahim is on the Snakes on a Plane end of the spectrum there. So there's sort of reason for irritation from the people who are irritated by him, right? His performances give a wink to the audience while saying, you know, hey, we're all idiots here, right? Which is insulting to those of us who do not, in fact, think of ourselves as idiots. So at his core, Rahim is reveling in the silliness of the form of professional Counter-Strike and casting professional Counter-Strike, right? Almost as if he were saying, this stuff is so easy, even an idiot could do it. See, I'll show you, right? And this performance seems to betray a profound disrespect for the art of casting, as I view it. And the one thing that I really came to feel as I was looking into this and studying this for this video is that real artists in any field attempt to elevate the form, right? Rahim attempts the opposite, in my view. You know, this has its place, but that place certainly isn't important higher tier online and sometimes offline matches that have real consequence. Those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.